Ahoj, mé jméno je Petr Lukáč a vítám vás u dalšího dílu podcastu CryptoSpace. Dneska nakoukneme, i když poměrně krátce, do světa vývoje her napojených na Web 3.0. Do studia dorazil Sasha, kterého někteří z vás znají z DeFi speciálů a který se posledního 3/4 roku věnuje vývoji hry OpenSeason. To je střílečka, kde se navzájem vraždí charaktery ze známých NFT kolekcí jako CryptoPunks, znuděné opice nebo žabáci Pepe a další. I přes původní plány udělat rozhovor v češtině jsme nakonec nahrávali anglicky. Takže dnešní free část epizody bude opravdu jenom taková ochutnávka. Pokud vás zajímá, jak se taková hra vyvíjí, jak hra pracuje s komunitami a proč vydávala vlastní NFTčka a tokeny, dejte si celý díl na Hra. Jen prozradím, že ani jedno ve finále k hraní OpenSeason nepotřebujete. A jen avizuji, že už příští týden bude první speciál s Adamem Kracíkem pro předplatitele. K analýze trhu a různých dalších věcí jenom čekáme na spuštění eterových ETFek. Takže kdo ještě není předplatitelem, stát si můžete na herohero.co/CryptoSpace. Na úvod je to za mě tentokrát vše. Jako vždy mi pište na cryptospace.cz/proton.me. Najdete mě na Twitteru, Instagramu, takže lajkujte, sdílejte a odebírejte. Tak pojďme na to. Tohle je CryptoSpace. Hey Sasha, how are you doing?
Doing good, Peter. How are you? I'm sorry for all the Czech speakers out there that were expecting me to, speak Czech to them.
But you speak Czech. You speak Czech.
Yes, I do. But what I was thinking is most of the time that I read things about crypto or, anything that I do crypto related is in English. So it's extremely hard for me to switch the brain to talk about specific things that I'm so used to talking in English in Czech all of a sudden. The little terminus technicals that you got to change.
I'm sure that people would enjoy it even with your Czech, but whatever. There was no time to actually change your mind because I'm recording this like a couple of hours before actually leaving for Germany and then Ukraine. So there's no time to find substitution.
Great.
Let's talk about OpenSeason. You sort of describe what it is when we talked about it in a DeFi special before Christmas, I think was our last time. But let's maybe do it again. What is OpenSeason? Can you describe it?
Yeah, so OpenSeason is a game, like you may call it a Web3 game. We actually don't even want to call it a Web3 game because you don't even need any of the Web3 things to join the game and play it. But it's a battle royale type game or a third-person shooter type game, which has a battle royale mode, and it has we're working right now on a deathmatch mode that is pretty much trying to bring the conflict of crypto Twitter into the arena of battle royale or deathmatch. So we're trying to bring communities like NFT
What is
communities.
conflict of crypto Twitter?
Well, you know how you have these communities. Everyone's very like to own their community. The apes hate the miladies hate whatever. So we're trying to bring these NFT communities to settle their differences on the gun. If I may say.
Okay. We'll get to that and to the NFTs and characters and whatever. But maybe I know it's not really fair to compare anything to other games, but it is not dissimilar to Fortnite.
It is not dissimilar to Fortnite. No. It's similar to Fortnite. It's we're slowly moving away from it, but yeah, that's how it started with a typical battle royale type game where you're shooting around, getting items and
there was some big changes after you came. So maybe describe us how the game, in which state the game was when you joined in, who founded it, and how far were they when you arrived?
Well, when I first heard about the game, there were two founders that they had this idea that they want to do more with NFTs than just having JPEGs, and they want to bring these JPEGs to life in a game. And one of the ideas that they had was maybe we can have a battle royale type game for these different NFT communities. And initially, they started working on it together. They learned Unreal by themselves and started putting the game together. But obviously, a two-person team without experience of gaming.
It was just
Unreal,
two of them doing it.
It was just
and
two of them.
They were coders.
Well, one of them was coder, another one was more of a modeler and artist.
And the plan was that these two guys will do the whole game.
I don't think that was the plan. I think the plan was for them to show a proof of concept and from then raise enough funds in order to push to the next level. And I think that's what they did. So they they sold these NFTs, which are the studio NFTs.
There was like, some people will hate it already now because these guys, like this game started with NFTs as like weapons, whatever.
Yeah, it started with NFTs, but it was very clear. Hey, we have these NFTs and the sales of the NFTs will help us continue building the game. It was, more or less, you can imagine an ICO through NFTs. And then they raised something like $400,000. And that's when we came in. They were like, hey, we got some money. Not that they were paying us, whatever. But
you never got paid. It's another thing. It's another thing.
Exactly. They brought us in because we thought the idea was cool. We have experience I have experience with crypto, tokenomics, and they didn't have so much of that experience. So brought us in to take it to try to take it to the next level. Then we finally were able to hire a team. But also they wanted to do everything by the book, and they are located in the US. They're doxed in the US. And so right off the bat, $200,000 had to be separated for taxes. So all of a sudden, 50% of the funds we already had to pay to Uncle Sam.
That's kind of brutal. Like you get to...
Yes. So then we were like, okay, we got to separate this for taxes. Now we only have 200,000. But thank God we were able to find some really good people that were not extremely expensive.
How big team did you build actually? How many people?
The team has been sort of like changing very often, but like we have 2 generalists that do coding, mechanics of the game. We have a modeler. We had a level designer when we need. A level designer comes in and does the level designs. We have a backend. Initially, we didn't have a dedicated server, so we had to create a dedicated server. So we got a backend person to do it, and we have a sound guy as well. So
how did the game look when you joined? It was like 9 months ago, a year ago. Where did you? When was it?
No, it was 6 months ago. It feels like
it was like man. It was like
I think it was like October.
Okay.
October, November.
In which state was the game?
Maybe the game was like it had 2, I guess you could say, test levels. And we were very small, and it was in a state that you could see that there could be potential, but it was far from being ready. I still think it's far from being ready right now.
It is. Like last time when we talked about it, I said it sucks. Now it's better, but it's still not perfect. It's the development is not the fastest, I must say, when I look at it.
Well, it is tough to do. If we had like $5 million, it would be a different story.
Yes.
It is tough. Right now, we actually have mainly 3 people working.
It's super small. Let's get back to the NFTs and what was the idea about it, because sometimes, and I've seen you doing this on a different project, that you came to a project and back then they had a token, and then you actually like had to come up with a utility for the token, because there was a typical ICO with like we just raise money and we have like nothing to do with that token, like, and you were like creating complicated tokenomics, trying to actually bring some functionality. Was there with these NFTs, and the NFTs are mainly weapons, right? I only saw weapons.
Yes.
What is there some? Was there originally some utility, and how was it evolved into nowadays utility of the NFT?
Oh, I think the NFTs originally were just like for the JPEGs, right? Just for the fun of it. They are like different weapons. There's mainly 4 weapons that we can use in the game, which is an assault rifle, a shotgun, a pistol, and a sniper.
But if you use that gun in the game, does it look different if you own the NFT or?
Not yet. This is something that we definitely want to do, is bring the skins into the game, and we can talk more about that.
Because I have really ugly and small pistols. I should get something bigger then.
Well, we can, definitely. We definitely want to, and we can talk about the utility that we want to add to it. But the idea originally was just like JPEGs with different damages and whatever, just a collectible. And then, of course, later we started adding more utility to it. And we can talk about it. We can talk about that now, or we can talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the utility, meaning memberships, actually early access to the game, and more. But I think we'll get to this a little bit later. You've done projects, but you've done DeFi projects. Like, how different is it to designing a game Okay, because like when we meet for a beer and you start talking about some optimalizations, I'm like, what the hell are these things? I never heard those terms and those things.
Yeah, one thing that I must say is like I had no idea. Like I had never opened an Unreal editor before in my life when I started this project. And I did not think I was going to be one opening the Unreal editor, but somehow I became sort of like completely involved in the game, became completely involved in the project management, talking to the developers directly, and a lot of the times developing myself some aspects of the game. I guess that's what happens when you have very little budget, and because I'm not getting paid in salary, I'm just getting paid in tokens for it, and we can talk about that later. Then I was like, okay, I might as well do it because it's cheaper than hiring someone else for who we have to
Sasha is
pay.
also that kind of a person who, like, when you do something and he sees you doing it and he thinks he can do it better, then he like totally goes nervous. I remember we did some project together. The truth is, like, you took the driller from me. Truth is that I made a little hole into your floor, but it was a tiny one. And then after that, I wasn't allowed to touch the drill ever again. But like, but ever since, like you became totally like obsessed, yes, with the game. So there was like nothing else you were doing. So what, like, so you got this much involved. Like, how was it different compared to like DeFi product was pretty easy compared to this, I suppose.
I mean, DeFi. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy. It's just different and doesn't have the complexity of gaming, right? Gaming, I feel like, especially a Web3 game, that you do have also the aspects of DeFi, right? We do have aspects of DeFi in the game. We have a tokenomics, we have the NFTs, we still have contracts and things like that, like Solidity contracts. But at the same time, we have all the other aspects, which is like the mechanics of the game, the levels, the level design, like little things like optimization, right? Like the amount of polygons in an asset, and the texture size, and is the texture going to stream or not? Like there's a billion other things. And I've never actually worked with a software as complex as Unreal. Unreal is extremely complex. It's extremely rich in terms of what you can do. So the learning curve was very steep. Let's just put it that way. And of course, I'm far from, knowing everything that there is to know about Unreal, but at least some things I'm feeling comfortable with and I can go in and do. But I'm happy that we have a team that, is a generalist and can do a lot of different things, animation of characters, modeling, and then adding mechanics, programming in C++, programming blueprints, and so on and so
Is
forth.
it even like possible to finalize the game in such a small team? Or is it the idea that like that you will start generating some money and you will grow? It's like nothing against like how you guys doing it, but it's you like
Sure.
after half a year in alpha, it took you a couple of months to come with dedicated servers, which is pain in the ass because before for. I didn't know it either. I literally had no idea. It looked like when the person hosting the game was killed. And usually I did it several times. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try another game. And then I just left, and everybody was kicked out of the server. So it was like pain in the ass. And this thing, which I thought wouldn't be so hard, took you months to change.
Yes. I mean, and we're still having issues.
Yes. So I'm just saying, like you are doing a game, which should be like a big one, in a team of 3 paid people plus, I don't know, let's say team of 6. Is it possible to finish it in this number of people? Or when you talk about the complexity and the difficulties and everything, is the idea, because now you had a token drop and you're entering the new stage, or is it the idea that you will start generating some more money and will grow?
Great question. Obviously, we have a plan of attack. This is not the final plan. Hopefully, we're not going to be on a team of 6 people trying to finish the game with 3 of those people actually working for free. That's not what I would consider ideal. And I agree 100%. This is a stage where we have to prove the concept, right? It's almost like a minimum viable product, and we're trying to prove the concept. The good thing is, I think we were able to prove the concept in the sense of we have projects that we partner with that actually paid us.
To whom are you proving the concept of?
Oh, in general, like we're proving that we can generate revenue. So I think initially we wanted to try to prove the concept, and right now the LP of our initial token was all raised from people that paid for services in the game. So that shows that there is some interest from the communities, and it seems that people are having fun, even though the game is in very rough conditions. It could be a lot better, but people seem to be having fun and love killing the other community members within it. So the idea was, okay, let's launch this as is to show that there is interest, and let's launch it in a place where gaming is becoming up and coming. And Arbitrum was a very clear for us, a clear place to launch. I mean, we launched the token on mainnet. It's called FU Money, by the way. It's Fractional Uprising Studios is the name of the studio. So just a fun name is FU Money is the token. And then we launched it on mainnet, deploy the contracts there, and then we moved the liquidity to Arbitrum. So the main bulk of liquidity is started in Arbitrum. And we launched at 5 million market cap with $50,000 in liquidity. Not a lot of liquidity, right? But we have been talking to the guys from Arbitrum. They are doing Arbitrum grants, for example, for gaming. One of the guys responsible for it actually played the game and said really good things about the game. He really liked it. So the next steps, obviously, do we want, grants? I mean, grants would be great for now, but we also have had a whole plan of generating revenue through our LP positions in the Uniswap.
Yes, I will.
Because that's where we have a token, and that's where the DeFi comes in a little bit, where we brought some of that knowledge into.
We will definitely touch it, like the means of income, because it's one of the main, most interesting part, actually, how you generated the liquidity through the partners, and how it's actually fun. I'm not so much engaged into an NFT, so it's like I'm not that excited when I see the different characters. We will get to them in a bit. What was I will stick still a little bit with the development. What is the biggest hurdle which you were surprised by? What was the main issue which you didn't expect to?
To be honest, finding really good dedicated developers. I mean, I hope
because you do it better than all of them, right?
No. It's not that. It's just like I mean, of course, we also want a lot from our devs, which is I can't understand that it's tough, but it seems that in the game industry, a lot of people are doing their own games as well. So if you're getting someone that is working like as a freelance, 90% of the time they have their own project that they're working on right now, and everyone else is working for a big studio. So it's very hard to find the right people that are like, oh, okay, I love this, and I'm just going to do this. So what you find is like you're working with people that are actually sort of juggling a few things, so they're not as fully devoted as you would like them to be, and things like that. So that for me, that's been tough.
That's why you had to get involved so much.
Well, that's why. But we just hired a technical lead, or we're experimenting right now with him. We just started like yesterday, really. So this is like really fresh off the table. But this person seems to be incredible. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we got. But very
you do
lucky.
All this. You do like there's no offices, nothing. Everything is done remotely. It's like the team is international. There's the founders are 2 Americans. Then there's Irish dude, you in Czech. Then another Czech, right?
Exactly.
Another one, Chris, is also from the US. So
yeah, and there's like a few in the US, then Ireland, and then two Czechs, and then the main devs are from Canada, more like the West Coast, close to Vancouver. So time wise, it's also pretty tough, because I was even writing yesterday. I was like, guys, when you add new feature, remember that feature needs to be built and ready for us to test in the morning, because if it's not ready, you guys go to sleep, we lose a whole day, and then you guys wake up and we're going to sleep and we just lost 24 hours. So that's also very challenging right now, because our main devs are like, right now they're going to sleep and we're just waking up.
What is the pay of a game dev nowadays? It must be also, it's not a cheap thing, I suppose.
Depends on the experience, depends what they're doing. I think a modeler or a UX UI designer, a level designer would make somewhere between $30 to $40 an hour, while a more experienced person would take $50 to $70 an hour, and a really experienced person would go around 100 an hour, 100 plus. So it depends on the range, depends how deep they are with their knowledge and if they're senior level or not, right? Senior people are usually 100.
Is this
plus.
price range the same like worldwide, or is it like, because like when you said that you have devs from West Coast and from Canada, I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be cheaper to get someone, I don't want to be racist, but India?
Sure,